Morning, it's the 16th, I think it is. Yeah, it's the 16th of January. I've got this 200 TDI engine built up, but I haven't put the front cover on, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to test it with the cover off, just to make sure there's no leaks. Now usually with my machine here, it's got a flow meter inside it, and the pressure gauge and things like this. But it only puts out about 1.5 psi, which isn't all that much. So I want to do something and test something to the extreme. Now Ben brought me down this transfer case down here. It's a 1.6, as much good as a glass eye really, because nobody wants them. But it gives an opportunity to test my homemade tester to extremes. What have I got? Well, something very simple that you can make at home. All it is a simple regulator with a little stopcock here, you know, to stop the pressure, and this connects onto your pipe where you're going to test. So that could be a breather pipe or something like that. You'd have to make some adapters, and you'll see that in a minute because we're going to do it live. Well, not live, but I'm going to record it live. They say that an oil seal should have a maximum of 7 psi pressure, otherwise it's going to blow. Do you think that's true? I'm not sure. I don't think it would blow. I think it would probably leak, but I don't think it would blow. You know, like the seal would turn inside out and you ruin it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to test it with this transfer case here. Now this is a regulator, so what the plan is, you connect that to your compressed air with this shut off. All right, back your regulator off till it stops. Open up your compressed air, so the air goes through, but it's still not flowing because this is shut off. Screw it in until you've got about 2 or 3 psi, and then just stop it off and see if the pressure drops. If the pressure drops, you've got a leak. You've got to find out where that leak is. If it's still not leaking, let's wind it up a little bit more. This gauge here goes to about 10 psi, which is okay. And I don't think you really need to test it more than that, because you don't want to stress the seals. So that's a very simple thing. It's just something that I had kicking around. That's an old regulator that was sort of parts were missing and things like this. So it's just a piece of rubber hose, and these are all 1/4 inch pipe thread fittings. A little stopcock there you can pick up off Amazon, very, very cheap, and a different gauge. Now this allows us, with this system, to change the gauges to something a bit different, maybe a 20 psi, I don't know. Now how are we going to find a leak? Soapy water. Easy. But I'd just like to see what would happen with this transfer case if we took it to extremes, because I've got to strip it down anyway. One other thing is that there are, just about pneumatics, this is a regulator, so you can have 100 psi coming in here, but only, well, 0 to 10 psi coming out of here, depending where this is. Well, it's fully adjustable to fully open, but we only want a few percent. This thing here, on the other hand, is a flow reducer, not a pressure reducer. And the simple thing is, it's cheap and cheerful, but all it is a little needle valve to allow a certain amount of air in. So what's the problem? Well, if you connect your compressed air to one side at 100 psi, you can take this needle down a little bit, but it'll just reduce the flow, but at the other side it'll gradually build up in pressure, not flow. It's very difficult to understand, but you'll get it. Right, let's get on with our experiment. Right, so here we are on the floor, because I can't lift this up, it's too bloody heavy. Forklift won't start, so I'm going to put a plug in the end. Then I've got this, I adapted this clamp, the valve spring compressor, to go over here. Make sure that's nice and tight, so it ain't going to leak. So the next thing we need is an airline. here's one here. We've got the tap shut off. I hope you can see that. I can't really turn the gauge, but we'll see what happens. This is backed off. Right, so that's backed off. Let's open the tap. Which way is it going? Like that. And now we'll increase the air to see what it will do. And straight away we have a leak. We have a leak out of... Oh, the bolt holes. See here, this is why I put studs in them. So let me block those holes off and then we'll come back. Right, here we go again, take two. So I've put two bolts in the back here, you know where you bolt it to your gearbox. That's on, the clamp's on. This is backed off, this is shut off. Let's put some air down it. Now, hope you can see it all. Should be able to. Right, let's back this off, open the valve. Let's put a bit of air down it. Oh, did you see that? Let's back it off again. This nut's loose, it's pushed it forward. Excuse me. There we go. That's that tightened up. So we're going to back that off, open the tap, tighten it up. And instantly we can hear a leak. Can you hear it? If we shut the tap off, we can hear it leaking. So now we need to know where that leak's coming from. Now, and this is a direct takeout. I don't know what anybody's been playing around with. I have no idea. But let's test it again. Open the valve, turn the gauge. And now we'll get some soapy water. Oh, it's out of this end cover. Look at that. Can you see that? So it works, eh? But it didn't pop the seals. And we're on... Well, pounds are on there. We're on £9 we're on there. But it still hasn't come out of the seals. This is good. So what I intend to do now, because I'm desperate to blow those seals up, I'm going to take this pressure off, and you can see the gauge goes down straight away. Yeah, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put some gaskets on it. I'm not going to put sealer on it because I've got loads of gaskets for these. Take these off and find out what's wrong. This must be kind of a later box because it's got the extension on the aluminium casting. Normally it was just a tin plate. So let's do that then. Yeah, so I've got the cover off. Looks like somebody's been in to have an inspect. Oh dear. Can you see the spline in that? Let me get a flashlight. And if you can see in there, the splines are absolutely chewed to bits. There's nothing in there. Yeah, this is, well, look. See? Nothing. So if you take off that cover and you see all that crap there, you know that spline's gone. But we're not concerned about that. We're not concerned about it at all. Because we'll build this up as a 1.44. And again, no gaskets on here at all. So let's clean all these faces up. Got to clean them up sometime. And we'll just put a gasket on with some grease. Right, here we go again. I put the cover on, cleaned it all up. I put a couple of paper gaskets on with some grease. Just to hold it up. for now, not RTV, because it's more cleaning to do. I'll clean the covers up because I've got to clean them up anyway. So that's it. So we've got the clamp back on. So this is screwed back. Let's open this up. See what it does. I'm sorry it's upside down. Should have filmed it from the other side. So we have a leak somewhere as well. Shut that off. You can see it's going down. Now this is why when you buy second-hand boxes, you've got to check them out, especially for that gear. You could have bought that, put it on, and it's just as bad as the one you took off. Let's try that again. I think it might be those bolts I put in. Oh, brilliant! You've got to see this, boys. You've got to see this. This is something I've wanted to capture for ages and ages and ages, but I've never been able to really do it until today. Right, look at the intermediate shaft here. I'll zoom in and watch this. So I'm going to open the valve. I'll back off the gauge, open the valve. I'm going to put a little bit of air in, and I'll shout out what the pressure is. Just building up now. That is 3 psi, and you can hear it leaking. Watch. Look at that. Isn't that brilliant? That's why your gearboxes leak, you see? And that's only at £3. I'm trying to get it on £2. There's £2 pressure. Not much at all, eh? So this little thing is worth its weight in gold. Look at this, they always leak out. And everybody thinks that they're leaking out of here, but they're not, they're leaking out of here, look. Where else is leaking? Ooh, that's interesting. I don't know if you can see down here. I'll put the camera around a little bit. Yeah, can you see that there's a leak coming out of the high-low, the diff lock switch? Nothing coming out of there. Nothing coming out of the flanges. Excellent. But that is terrible. Yeah, look at it coming out of here now. Yep, that's that. So, what have you learnt? Test and try before you buy. That's what my mother used to say. I don't know what she was talking about. Anyway, that transfer case is leaking, and it's an ideal situation to show you where they actually leak from. So that's why JP and I put steel bushes in every single transfer case now, regardless. You could put O-rings in there, and in a few months' time they'll be leaking again. I know I've done it in the past, but it wasn't until we found out we could put steel bushings in there, it made it great. So we can't put any more pressure in there than about, well, 3 or 4 pounds. So we need to go to the next step and fix this transfer case. And we might just do a few sacrificial seals and see if we can push it to the limits. Because I don't really care too much about this one. It's not that important. Anyway, so I hope you liked that. That was good, wasn't it?